welcome to Season of War! Starting off on a great foot with the microphone muted for the first introduction. That's just how tonight's going for us, but excited to bring you guys round 5 of the Kharadron GT, the final match, top table between Jeremy with his Kharadron Overlords, Mitch with his Maggotkin of Nurgle. But most exciting of all, I'm excited to be sharing the commentary booth tonight with my wife, your narrator, Cassidy.
Hello, friendos.
Yeah, so anyways, the players did, they were eager, got this match started actually before we turned our cameras on, so we have a little bit of catching up to do today. We are already in the first turn. Mitch here, being a 1-drop, out-dropped Jeremy with his KO. Gave away first turn, so we're just in the movement phase now, but we saw the hero phase move, or we missed the hero phase move of the Ironclad, and then Warp Lightning Vortex going out, the Endless spell that's doing a bunch of mortal wounds to all the bugs right now, for a second time being this is the end of the movement phase now, so obviously that's a great Endless spell for the, the AoE damage, and it also removes fly and doesn't allow units to run. The run isn't a big deal here, nor is the fly necessarily with the terrain makeup, but we have seen with Jeremy's Kharadron army, all the boats able to fly high, repositioning over into that corner. Looks like he's going for that top right objective. Otherwise though, just to catch you guys up on the state of the board right now, there are on the left side 2 dragons. You can just see the bases of them. And those dragons are actually up on the terrain, just on the edge of the objective, just moved off the edge of the table for now. Yeah, so lots going on. Otherwise, we just saw a redeploy for Mitch with those 2 bugs onto the objective, trying to, and just hold it from the Kharadron. They only count for 2 bodies each, those boats, so not a whole lot going on.
Oh, you think it...
Yeah. And they do have people inside them as well. They do have a bunch of dwarves garrisoned inside those boats, but while they're inside those boats,
They don't count.
They don't count for objectives. So it's just and they're not monsters, so they don't count like get the 5 bodies for monsters. So it's just the 2 for having more than 5 wounds. But anyways, want to say big thank you and welcome to everyone watching so far. Excited to have you guys along with us. If there are any issues with our mics or audio, obviously let us know, and just excited to get into this game. Cass, you haven't seen much of, you've seen, I think, narrated these armies a couple times on the chat, but not super common. Yes,
and I feel like not lately, because I'm even trying to kind of... I think, does Carl play these guys?
Carl plays Kharadron, so
yeah. I remember seeing him with
the boats.
The boats.
Yeah, then there's more boats here in Jeremy's list. And
they're like the steampunk dwarves.
Yeah. When we are right now moving into the hero phase, or sorry, the shooting phase, the Ironclad has opened up shooting using all-out attack and an Aether Gold for the +1 to hit and +1 to wound is great. Assuming also we missed in the hero phase the Aether Chemist using his Aether Gold to give, I think it's reroll 1s to wound to that Ironclad. Obviously just trying to stack all the buffs up, leverage all that damage early, try and chew through those bugs. Yeah, so in the shooting phase, obviously we're big test here today. We saw in round 3 the Kharadron Overlords rip through a Skaven army in 1 turn basically, and we've also seen the resiliency of Nurgle, so it'll be a good test here of the firepower of KO versus the resiliency of Nurgle.
Too many flies.
So many flies.
So many flies.
Yeah. And we got 16 on the board. There's 5 units of 2 flies in Mitch's list, and 1 unit of 4, and then 2 single Lord of Afflictions. So lots of flies, lots of Pusgoyles flying around. I'm sure you'd love saying that name lots.
Yeah.
So we have seen, it looks like that the Ironclad did take out at least it looks like a unit of Pusgoyles there, or at least 1. Yeah, super interested to see here if the KO are going to have the output to chew through Nurgle. But excited to see you guys trickling in. Hey to everybody in the chat. Just working through some stuff here, guys. We do have the frigate shooting next. Again, just trying to chew through the pust oils. You're gonna hear us saying that a lot. That's really the main story here tonight. But let's pull up, while we're going through it, we can pull up Sorry guys, just working to pull up the list tonight. Pulling up the Kharadron list now. So just while we are in the shooting phase, seeing how much damage we can do to those bugs. Looks like another one's gone down from the frigate to those two units that were formerly there. One of them's gone, one of them's lost a bug. So we've seen 3 bugs die already. But looking through the Kharadron list, as we did see it in round 3, but we have 2 Aether Chemists. One of them has the Spell in the Bottle, which contains the Warp Lightning Vortex, which we've already seen gone out. And then the other one has the Collector trait, which just allows the second artifact with the General. Otherwise, though, not many bodies. We saw we have 10 Arcanauts in one of the boats, as well as 5 Thunderers garrisoned in another one. 2 Arcanaut frigates making up the battle line for this army, as well as a Ironclad, a Gun Hauler, and as we mentioned earlier, 2 Stormdrake Guards. So we have the 2 filthy Stormcast Dragons allied in here tonight. Cass, what are your expectations? You don't know a ton about these armies.
Yeah, not super sure kind of how things are gonna go. Mainly just because I'm not really familiar with how these armies work. I mean, at the board now, I mean,
you've already seen 3 flies on this top right objective go down.
So
he's able to chew through them. You know, we've seen KO chew through them fairly well so far. But it is he has utilized so many of his buffs right now that he isn't going to have those every turn. So it's going to be, losing efficiency on those units as we go. But, already taken a good chunk of the board. So if we can see that happen, for successive turns, if Mitch loses 3 or 4 bugs every turn, that's chewing through his army potentially real quick, too quick for Mitch to keep up with. And we are in the charge phase now. We've seen that Ironclad charge in. It is going to be doing some impact hits potentially on the charge, as well as having some mortal wounds from the bombs that it drops at the beginning of the combat phase. And after the ward saves, we've seen 4 mortal wounds come out from the Ironclad on impact there. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that when it's Ironclad, they more damage for Buffy than it would be if they released the people out.
Definitely everyone garrisoned to the boat is safer with them. They get +1 to save and -1 to be hit while garrisoned. But none of the Kharadron stuff, even the boats, they're not overly good in combat here. We did see the charge in mostly to do the mortal wounds on impact. Jeremy would have potentially been doing, rolling 11 dice trying to do mortal wounds, but only 4 going through here with Mitch's wards. So, and then we're just seeing another 2 mortal wounds coming down from the bomb racks. So a couple mortal wounds. We may see that fly go down in combat, but the Ironclad is not going to do a whole ton. We just saw actually 3 damage come out of the Ironclad with 1 of those going through after the ward save, so only 1 damage. Looks like that signal bug is going to survive here from this turn 1 Ironclad charging in.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, looks like potentially on 1 wound with the damage that's come through so far. I don't know if, yeah, with that being the only charge, it looks like we haven't charged the dragons in or anything at all. So I assume just tagged on that edge of the objective. They are put behind the terrain piece, but the dragons are meant to be on the terrain piece at the bottom left. So assuming that they're tagging the objective, it should give Jeremy 2 of the objectives here, turn 1, which is a good start, especially when, given turn 1 isn't doing a ton in combat, but they're just starting the shooting first.
That's literally what I thought. Archfey, I was like, you'd think that Carl was playing right now. I was gonna say that, but then I thought then I realized who I was, so I guess it was appropriate to say.
It's expected of you to be a little sassy here tonight.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And actually, we have seen the chemist just fought in combat, garrisoned inside the boat, and he did that final wound or two to take out the final Blight Lord, the Pustgoyle. So
well, it's definitely not Carl then.
Yeah. So both units there, 2 units already removed. That's 4 Pustgoyles we've seen go down turn 1. So
that's good.
Pretty solid start. It looks like Mitch does have that. His big unit of 4 is in that bottom left side. Towards that bottom left objective, so not where all Jeremy's stuff is right now. Obviously, Jeremy has the choice to just pick up his boats and redeploy them anywhere on the board, so it lets him really pick the engagements, especially, choosing. He wants to double down on 1 or 2 units at a time and work his way across the board, clearing out those Pustgoyles and clearing the objectives, so he can obviously control them and then pick up and move away from them ideally and move on to the next one without getting bogged down too much.
Oh, thank you, official Bush baby. Oh my gosh, that's so hard to say. Say that 5 times fast.
You
Bush
go for
baby,
it.
Bush baby, Bush baby, Bush baby.
Yeah.
Whatever. Thank you for joining the premium team.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, super appreciate all the support. But yeah, so we are into Nurgle turn 1 now. We've seen 5 points go up for the Kharadron Overlords, getting hold 1, hold 2, hold more. So those dragons definitely are tagged in the bottom of that left objective. And then completing the battle tactic of Conquer, giving KO 5 points. So good solid start. Full score here for Kharadron. That's all they're hoping, all you can expect. And we've gone for heroic leadership for both armies in the hero phase. Both failing to achieve that. So not getting the 4-ups here. No. So no extra command points floating around. But Nurgle and Mitch is going to have some decisions here of where he wants to go. He's got a bunch of he's got a bunch of Pustgoyles in the center on the left side, has lost the ones on the top right, and not much hero phase, obviously, for Mitch. No casting or anything in this army. And he is just into movement. So we'll see. Obviously, going to be trying to get into, looks like, move towards those boats, tie them up. Yeah. Lord of Afflictions up there in the top. So we'll see. Again, the losing fly isn't going to be the end of the world here for the Pustgoyles, but looks like a bunch of them will be taking some more damage at the end of Mitch's movement phase. Yeah. Obviously, Gene, as you say in the chat, terrain is a finicky area for the game right now. Being a little tough, obviously, with the variety of terrain, but none of this is garrisonable, so not impassable. So by the rules, obviously, models are able to land on it, and it's just here, obviously, everyone's aware of the situation and kind of the awkwardness of terrain, but players, working collaboratively together, understanding that, the dragons are able to be there on the terrain, tagging the edge of the objective, so easy to just talk through those situations with your opponent. So thankfully, seeing some good cooperation already. We have seen here a redeploy from the ironclad. Looks like he rolled and moved 3 inches. He has moved off the objective, so it's 2 less bodies on the board, or on the objective, sorry, for KO. But hopefully, you know, obviously Jeremy's here hoping that he will be a little safer from Mitch's charges and, you know, keeping the ironclad not tagged in combat. So he will have the option, obviously, to unleash hell if he does get tagged into combat.
What was his what did he pick for his battle tactic?
Mitch has gone for aggressive expansion here.
Okay.
So holding 2 objectives, obviously the center one he already controlled with his deployments, and I'm gonna assume he went for the bottom left one here.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, interesting, with these all the postroyals only counting for 2 bodies, Mitch currently has 10 bodies on that objective. Those 2 dragons each count for 5. So if both of those dragons are taking the objective, he has to take one down to be able to take that, you know, bottom left point. If he went for the top right one, which, you know, might have been a tougher ask, he's got to get here now 4 of those postroyals on the objective. There's only 2 on there right now, and yeah, that's gonna be tough. We have seen now we are rolling for the warp lightning vortex and some mortal wounds coming out onto the postroyal units. It's like 2 mortal wounds to 1 unit, 1 mortal wound to another, so not a ton. But for Mitch to take that top right objective, he's gonna have to, you know, get some long charges here. And with obviously this game being a little bit of a hectic introduction with normally we start in deployment, but here just the video started a little late. Wanted to give a couple of quick shoutouts. One to Josh Aikens, RTO, not only the tournament organizer for this event, but here Josh gave me a little super chat, little super sticker message. So thank you for the extra support there, but always love Josh's event, so super appreciate you know, having great TOs in our area is a great blessing.
We will buy our daughter goldfish with your generous gift.
Yeah, and Josh actually has been down for a game on the channel recently, trying to get him on for another one, but you know, scheduling is always tough. And we've seen one of the unit of Postroyal's Blight Lords use Forward to Victory. Oh, yeah. Rough here right now. That single one, it looks like dealing 2 mortal wounds to the Dunhauler and 1 mortal wound to the frigate in that, you know, top right objective. Just from the impact hits, obviously, with the bugs here, all these Postroyals are going to be doing, you know, mortal wounds on impact as they get into combat. So it's a great way to chew through the solid armor on the boats if they can get the bugs in. You know, again, looking for some long charges here. It's going to be a little tough. Yeah, losing a fly to warp lightning definitely hurts. That's the thing with so many here tied up. There's obviously the potential with Jeremy potentially getting the turn again and Mitch not being able to, you know, then move away. Let's see warp lightning vortex go off for another turn next round, depending on how priority goes. So with the impact hits, on the bottom left side, we've seen 5 mortal wounds dealt to the dragons here. So one of them's down to 4 already. And so for Mitch to take that objective, he's already well on his way. It looks like he only has 8 bodies on there right now, taking the Lord of Afflictions off the objective to get the charge in. But only looking for 4 mortal wounds here now to take down a dragon and take that objective. The Storm Drakes have used Aurora, and we've seen 1 damage dealt from the bomb racks to that single Postroyal in the top right, who's just being a champ up there by himself, trying to tide all those boats, keep them tied up. And I know it does, being that they are tied up with a flying unit, I know they are not able to retreat and shoot anymore, but I still believe they will be able to fly high in the hero phase to get out of there. But it does mean, you know, they're to be a little more restricted into where they can or can't move. But I think the big combat here is going to be those Pustoils, that unit of 4 into those 2 dragons. You haven't seen, there's, you know, Jeremy's already out of CP, so no all-out defense, I believe, on the dragons, so they'll just be on their 3-up save. Not much rend coming out of the Pustoil list here, just some rend 1 on the riders, but I would think they'll be able to take down 1 dragon of that unit with only 4 runes remaining and potentially stacking extra.
They just need to take down.
Yeah, just to take the objective. Yeah, exactly. And would store Mitch an extra monster point, which is big.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, it always sucks when it, like, the lies on the dice. Like, every time it's like that for me, and it's like yeah, it should be able to. And then, like, the last game we played, I, like, thought for sure I'd be able to take out, what was it, a unit of your...
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Our Lumineth and Daughters of Cain game.
Daughters of Cain game. Yeah.
Nearly whiffed on.
Literally almost lost my battle tactic because of that. So.
Yeah, that can be bait. We did see actually the first activation. Go with Mitch went with the Pustoil on the top right, dealing 1 damage to the Dunhauler. And now Jeremy is going to be attacking back with the Storm Drakes, activating them first, and looks like he's dealt 10 damage into that Pustoil unit, so that's rough, because allowing those dragons to attack first, removing a Pustoil is big.
Yeah, it's going to be less damage for him to put into the dragons.
Yep, and with needing to kill 1 to take that objective, that's not a great position to be in.
Nope.
Almost, yeah. I assume that the plan was, you know, Mitch wanted to get the utility out of that 1 Pustoil potentially before it died, but I feel like he really needed.
He should have gone with that unit first to try and put as much damage into the dragon or to the Storm Drakes. Then
you can understand why he wanted to go with that Pustoil, who was potentially going to die too. But yeah, really relying more here on the dragons. Puts him in a tough spot. But we've seen the Lord of Afflictions has used all-out attack here. And dealt 1 damage to the dragon, so only 1 damage coming out of the Lord of Afflictions. Not great at all. Not the start he's looking for, but we'll still have the unit of 3 Pustoils. Assistant Ref in the chat thinks this will be a really rough matchup for KO, or theoretically is. They tend to struggle to put out enough DPS against the waves of junk. Yeah, I would say that's really the big question here tonight is, you know, we have seen it obviously has a ton of output. We saw 4 Pustoils go down in KO turn 1. Another one going down to the Warp Lightning Vortex in Mitch's turn. And already starting to be stretched a little thin here. With only, you know, that bottom left objective looks a little more potentially secure if he can, you know, take down a dragon. But he's, you know, not on the center objective, and Mitch only has 2 bodies on that top right one. Yep, as you say, Warpfire minis, I believe they cannot retreat and shoot because there is a flying unit engaged with them, as the boats normally can retreat and shoot. But I think they are still able to fly high, which, again, I haven't looked at this with the transition into AOS 3, but assuming they can still do the fly high well in combat, you know, from a normal move or retreat move, that should allow them to you know, redeploy on the board and still be able to fire.
Only 1 damage And the Puscoils.
Yeah, so it looks like that Puscoil unit has activated, again, dealing 1 damage only to those dragons. So
Rip.
looks like that one dragon still has 2 wounds left on him. And yeah, and surviving so far. Now we're seeing, obviously, it looks like Mitch has tagged 2 boats in the top right objective. And the Gunhauler has just dealt 1 damage to that Puscoil, so he's still alive for the time being. And now a second damage, looks like from the Arcanauts inside. Or obviously inside the frigate there, I believe. Priority, round 2, round 3 priority are always big, you know, right now in AOS in this edition, I feel. Especially, you know, high level competitive play, these turn 2, turn 3 priorities can be super impactful. Now we have finished combat here for this turn, and our Mitch is going to be rolling disease points for the units, hoping here to get disease on the, you know, that's his best hope of taking down the dragons at this point. So if you can roll a couple 4-ups, depending on how many disease points he's gotten on those dragons, that is going to be big to, you know, looking to take down those dragons for if they are both on that objectives. They may not be, obviously, with the terrain situation and the players having them off. I don't know if both are meant to be tagged in that objective or only one, so looks like we've seen the disease points dealing 3 mortal wounds to a Gunhauler, 1 mortal wound to a frigate, and 4 mortal wounds to a dragon. Yeah, so that does take out one of the dragons, and obviously giving Mitch the objective here, having 3 bodies on it.
By the yeah.
A great mechanic for Nurgle where, you know, their attacks aren't obviously a ton of damage, no insane rend here, but at the end of the turn, dealing mortal wounds, you know, depending on how many disease have been built up. Great way to chew through, you know, high armor save units like the dragons here. Like 4 mortal wounds at the end. That's more damage than the Puscoils or the Lord of Afflictions dealt in combat. Yeah, so. Here now, at the end of Mitch's turn, he has gotten or stored hold 1, hold 2, and hold more, as well as his battle tactic, and killing a monster for that 6th point. So, you know, a good answer here. And that Puscoil in the top surviving actually is really interesting for potentially tying up those units. Mm-hmm. But we have rolled priority, and Mitch has won and taken the turn, so we are seeing an early double turn for Nurgle. But the just to answer the question in the chat, the hunt update from Games Workshop was not in effect. It came out after this event, so that hasn't been in play at all. So we won't see any of the extra predator or whatever points for those dragons in this match. But with Mitch again taking turn here, it is going to give him the opportunity to potentially finish off those dragons, as well as getting a lot more of his flies onto that top right objective, tying up all those boats. And with obviously Nurgle turn here, we are seeing every unit that has damage allocated to it is able to heal 1, so that helps, kind of reduce some of the chipping that the Warp Lightning Vortex has done, healing those units back a little bit. And the Lord of Afflictions in the top right has gone for Heroic Willpower and managed to get a big Dispel here on the Warp Lightning Vortex. That's actually pretty big.
Yeah.
So that does allow him full freedom now. Not that the losing Fly was super restrictive, but if any of his units, it looked like a few still would have ended within 6 inches, could have been taking more mortal wound. That's big to get them free, to get in there and get stuck in. And it looks like Mitch has gone for Conquer for his battle tactic. So looking to take that top right objective now. He already controls the other 2. Looks like he's going to be getting enough bodies on there. He's tied right now, pending this last unit, which should give him the body advantage. But smart move, moving that Lord of Afflictions first, right outside of 3 of the Ironclad. Made it impossible for that Ironclad, would have potentially had the opportunity to redeploy and get onto the objective, but blocking it off there is a smart move, smart play by Mitch, not allowing those extra bodies on there. Though there is a good chance that Mitch will be able to take this anyways, so long as all the buffs survive. Which, with an Unleash Hell, we know that they can deal a ton of damage. Archfey, you did not hear wrong. There was a Warp Lightning Vortex on the board. With the Kharadron Overlord artifact spell in the bottle, it allows them to take any endless spell in the game and not cast it, but basically throw it out onto the board once per game. And they do have, Kharadron did have to pay points for it, so they did pay for the points in the list. It is an expensive endless spell, but it allows them to get it out automatically, not even having to roll a casting roll to get it out. So good way, obviously a very strong spell. We did see a ton of mortal wound damage coming out, to all those units that were nearby. And with charges going in now, we've seen 2 mortal wounds, or 3 mortal wounds in total, dealt to the boats from the Lord of Afflictions going in. Dayton, happy to hear, or happy to have you in the chat tonight. Welcome. I'm sorry you feel betrayed. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure we'll get over it. I'm glad you're enjoying the music, though. I have to always say hi to Nicole. I'll have to get her on here commentating with us as well sometime.
Yes, I want Nicole here.
Figuring out stream volumes and music and all that is always a fun game.
Is it like too loud or not loud enough last time?
It's not, last time is not loud enough. I went back and watched the video and you could, from my opinion, couldn't hear it very well, so.
It is me. Hello. Hello.
Glad to have the levels a little better tonight. We have seen more mortal wounds, 4 mortal wounds coming out from that unit charging into the Ironclad, it looks like. So 4 mortal wounds there. Onto the Ironclad. And 6 mortal wounds now on that left frigate coming out from those 2 pustoils that have charged into combat there. Again, the impact mortal wounds here, pretty big for Nurgle. Again, their attacks aren't doing a ton, but between the impact hits of the bugs
and the disease, right?
The disease points, those combined are really what's chewing through the KO army so far. Not that we've seen tons of losses. The only models we've lost for KO.
1 dragon.
Yeah, 1 dragon, so not too much.
And yeah, he hasn't even the other people. They haven't even come out of the boat yet.
Yeah,
we got some. Hopefully, we got some fun things.
Yeah, a lot of
coming.
a lot of stuff won't want to come out of the boats.
Not right now.
Not right now. Obviously, safer inside the boats, but made that they don't count towards objectives while they are garrisoned inside. So
Yeah.
here it's going to allow Mitch, so long as his about to survive, it's going to let him handedly take this top right objective and complete his battle tactic. Here at the end of the charges though, or after they would have completed their charge, we have seen the Ironclad use Unleash Hell and dealing 4 damage to that unit of Pustoils on the top right side that are engaged with the Ironclad. So not a ton of damage, but that's 1 Pustoil at half health. With a bomb and some lucky attacks, we may see 1 Pustoil go down there.
Storm Drakes use Roar.
Yep. On those bottom left
Yeah.
bottom left Pustoils. So monstrous actions, just trying to keep those
Trying not to let them use any
command abilities.
Yeah.
So all out defense, all out attack, both good ones here. But really, biggest thing Nurgle wants is all the 6s to hit, because those will generate more of the disease points, which potentially translate into mortal wounds. And assistant ref, you are made a very good point. With Mitch not putting anything on the center objective, it does leave it free for Jeremy to redeploy onto it with KO without any threat or needing to make charges. But here, even still, I think Mitch has the board control right now, and if he's forcing Jeremy, even if he takes 1 objective, that's 2 points less each turn. So it's gonna be tough for Jeremy to score points unless he can have another big turn like his turn 1 and
take out a bunch of the Pustoils.
Yeah, exactly. No 4 or 5.
Get your flash water out, son. You ever have any of those electric flash water?
Yeah.
Electric ones?
Might not be legal at events for us to use on each other, but
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when we were kids, but yeah. We have seen the Pustoils on the bottom left activate first this turn, and dealing 5 damage to the Storm Drake, so a lot better than turn 1 in terms of the combat. 7 damage on that dragon. Good chance that guy's going to be going down in the or at the end of the turn to disease points.
Yeah.
Mitch does have the Lord of Afflictions up there as well, so there is that. It looks like we just have to do the bomb racks, or we're doing the bomb racks a little delayed. Just seeing 2 mortal wounds come out from the 2 frigates, or 1 mortal wound each, so not a ton of damage. Dayton, trying to keep it PG here. Family friendly stream.
Is it? Why did you invite me if
never.
it's family friendly stream?
I had Dayton on to help commentate a game, so it definitely is not a family friendly stream.
It was Nicole's idea, FYI. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, big here. We know the Pustoils, and we've seen this list a number of times, and Mitch playing it to great success on the channel. But again, just the bodies here, because KO doesn't count for many bodies, Mitch is just able to pretty handily take those objectives and has the resiliency to hold them so far. Yep. Oh, it's going to be interesting here. It was definitely in a tough spot, but a priority back would be big for them going into round 3. Oh, Shorty, Mark, glad you enjoyed Cass's interview over on Party of the All Points.
Oh yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah,
Nicole's amazing.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that as well. It gave me some interesting insights into my wife's opinion of Warhammer things we hadn't talked about before, so it was cool to see that perspective.
Yeah, it was like things we've talked about, but I think it was just like, it's different when you're kind of casually talking to someone else about it, and then like, without there being the, I guess, this, not the stress, but like the potential thing of like making your partner feel like kind of uncomfortable or something. It's like, here it was just like, I kind of just had verbal diarrhea and kind of let what out, and I was like, oh well, if he doesn't like it, then but
you and Nicole had a good vent session.
Honestly,
your Warhammer husbands.
It was literally like the best vent session. I also found out that you were going to Montreal even before I knew, like before
we had talked about it, yeah.
Which was also fun too.
Thankfully, I have a very accepting and understanding wife who supports my hobbies, so I'm thankful for that.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. We have seen now, obviously, continuing combat, the Stormdrake has fought back into those bottom left pus royals, dealing 5 damage, not killing another one, but just, putting up a fight, which is, again, big that the Stormdrake's able to attack. As we've talked about in chat a little bit, the potential redeploy of all those boats could let Jeremy focus down on one of the objectives and try to clear it again. Doing that, moving, even centrally or behind the, to the bottom of the board would be big. Again, the pustules are quick, but they're not extremely fast. Only 8-inch movement on them, so they'd be able to position well. Obviously, KO is great at that, being able to just fly high and teleport wherever they want. Dade and I agree that Cass needs to join the Warhammer Twitter community. It's a great place to be.
I don't understand Twitter. I don't understand how Twitter works. I feel like the worst millennial. Like, I don't understand.
You TikTok, but you don't Twitter.
I don't really make TikToks. I watch TikToks.
Fair. Yeah, so I agree. We need to get Nicole and Dayton down here together sometime. I already challenged. Well, I originally challenged them to a doubles 2v2 game. Then it turned into from couple versus couple into boys versus girls. So
yeah,
that'll be a good match.
I want to play with Nicole.
Yeah, and it'll definitely end up being Daughters of Cain and Idoneth Deepkin versus Idoneth Deepkin and Daughters of Cain. Just hilariously.
Yeah, but then then you'll have like the wife wrath coming out.
Oh yeah, you guys are vicious.
Oh hell yeah. I know, it's like the same thing with us, Dayton. Like it's always the childcare situation. Yeah. I feel that in my soul.
Yeah. We have seen the Lord on the top right objective using all-out attack and killing the gun hauler. So we've lost our first boat on the Kharadron side. So that's big. The boat does have a great.
How many dudes are in one boat?
In that one, there was nobody was inside that boat garrison.
Oh, okay.
But it's big actually because that boat has a great artifact where it gets to deal mortal wounds on impact once per game. So another way KO can kind of get some of the damage out in combat, so to speak, by just basically ramming themselves into the enemy. Yeah. I mean,
so like if they take down a boat,
yep,
all the dudes inside die too?
Nope. So when a garrison is destroyed,
do they all just like come
they get
down?
to jump out, but if on a roll of a 1, those models are slain.
Shit.
So there's the potential for them to die as a boat explodes. There's also, here Mitch doesn't have the bodies to do it, but also if you actually wrap around a boat, if you completely surround it, and there's no area for the models inside to get out, they are all automatically slain.
Really?
Yeah, so actually in some like older matchups in AOS 2, I used that to great effect against Carl a couple times.
Oh my god, Carl must have been so pissed.
It can be so critical because at the time, a unit of 15 Thunderers potentially, a 400 point unit, if you kill the boat, they can't jump out and they're all auto slain is a crippling game over move if you can arrange it.
You're calling me vicious.
Oh, yeah. No mercy between friends, right?
How dare you? I mourn for Carl.
So the top left pustules have now fought, dealing 4 damage to the frigate on the left. Again, not insane output, but between like the impact hits, you know, mediocre damage, a little chip damage, and then disease at the end, it's just coming, you know, Nurgle just wears you down faster than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so hopefully Jeremy's just got to be hoping that he doesn't lose any more boats this turn. Wants obviously all the output for his next turn, be able to leverage them, redeploy, take some objectives back. But with the state of the board right now, it looks like Mitch will be in control of all 3 objectives. Scoring has hold 1-2 more automatically, and I don't think there's any way at this point he's losing Conquer. I don't think we would have to see 2 of those bugs go down in combat on that top right objective. 3 if the Ironclad isn't able to tag it with its, if it piles in, so very unlikely. And actually it would have to be 4 because he would have to beat he would remain in control with 2, so need to kill 3 bugs there. But with Kharadron's lack of combat prowess, I don't really see that happening.
Yeah.
Jean-Francois, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce your name. Apologies if not.
Jean-Francois.
Yeah. Units and garrisons do count towards objectives, but the boats specifically in Kharadron Overlords, they stipulate that garrison units inside the boats do not. So that's a rule specific to Kharadron Overlords, not all garrisons. Nice, Jean-Francois. I hope we see you at Grand Clash. You got to be going to that if you're over in Quebec. We're pumped for that event. Dayton's coming down as well, so it'll be a blast.
That's the event that I found out from Nicole that my husband was going to before he even told me about it.
With Nicole's husband. Yeah, so little damage back and forth here in the combat phase right now. 2 mortal wounds to the left frigate, 1 to the middle frigate with the disease points. Only chip damage here back and forth. 1 damage from the pustules to the Ironclad. The Ironclad dealing 1 damage in return, or the Aether Chemist in the Ironclad dealing 1 damage there. So again, not a ton of damage back and forth in combat. Grand Clash is definitely one of the must-attend events if you can. One of my favorite ones. Was a blast last year. Excited for this year. Great community out there in Quebec. Love playing out there. Also, we have a ton of our international crew and like Dayton, people from across the country coming in for it. So it's going to be a big one. I think 135 players registered for it right now. So it'll be awesome. We'll be there recording some games as well. Like with this coverage, we'll be streaming that either the week or the second week after Grand Clash. So excited for that. We did, with the disease points, also see 5 mortal wounds go onto the Ironclad. Yeah, so that's big. So again, just like wearing these boats down slowly, they do have a ton of wounds, but getting the damage through. Yeah, they're not invincible, so those boats really kind of gotta get out of there and move somewhere safe if they can. And we have seen Mitch store again. Hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and conquer.
6 points.
Yep.
That brings him to 12, right?
Yep.
Nice. I'm excited to see how our little dukes are gonna fight back.
We did not see that dragon go down though.
No.
On the left side, so interesting or noteworthy that that guy's still alive. Again, counting for 5 on objectives, even for just for story purposes, it's very noteworthy to have that dragon still alive.
Still up there, I see.
Yep, all the boats get to heal 1 wound.
Yeah. Going for broken.
Yep, so Jeremy has gone for broken ranks, so depending on which unit of plus royals he selected, there's obviously a ton of options here.
Yeah.
That one single one in the top right is a unit of 1 now, as 1 has died. And he's got to be on, low on wounds at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So confirming it is that top middle plus royal at the top right of the objective. Could be a pretty reliable broken ranks, but it does give us an indication that Jeremy's potentially going to be staying up there and just trying to shoot his way out, through the bugs there and stay on that objective in hopes to claim it. At JF, I am not planning to do the doubles. The doubles is on Friday, and just with life and kids and family, we're going to be driving up on Friday is the current plan for most of the crew actually that's coming from Toronto. So we won't be there for the doubles, but we will be there Friday, whenever we arrive on Friday, there for all the shenanigans and obviously the Signals event, and coming back home, staying over Sunday, driving back home, nice haul on Monday morning. Interesting, so that frigate has gone for fly high here. And just looking to free up some space. Yeah, this is, again, movement here is going to be critical just to... Jeremy's got to be taking objectives back here. So he's got to get something on that center one. And he only really has the 3 boats.
Going for the center one?
Well, I would think he's got to put something on it to control it.
Yeah.
That's his best opportunity to, like,
Get
it's
some
an
more
easy
points,
opportunity
yeah.
to store 1 objective.
For him to do the hold 1, hold more, he'd have to get rid of some of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
On that top right objective. You'd have to get rid of most, if not all of them. I believe the only restriction for flying units is when you retreat and shoot. It doesn't affect their fly high.
Start a 1.
Yeah, that was actually the I believe that was the so that was the single plus royal. Looks like, yeah. So that would have been the battle tactic one.
How many wounds each do these guys have?
The plus royals and even the Lords of Affliction all have 1 wound only, so.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, did I just say 1 wound only?
Yeah.
I completely they have 8 wounds each.
I was gonna say 1 only. That
I was thinking
sucks.
they have 8 wounds per 1 model.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
excuse me?
They would not be able to do the job that they do of tagging stuff if they were 1 wound each. But
I was gonna say that's so friggin' bold to go in there with like 1 wound models.
8 wounds each. So,
okay.
Yeah,
that's a little better.
Big, thick, tanky boys. They have a 4-up armor save, which is very solid, and then a 5-up ward save. So you've obviously seen the ward saves with Teclis and Daughters of Cain. They have it on all their units automatically on a 5-up. They just ignore the damage.
That's pretty good.
So they can be very tough to chew through.
But looking at the points here, it looks like he'd really benefit from the hold one.
He does, yeah. He really
needs,
wants to, yeah. But I don't know if maybe Jeremy's just going more for the damage output here, trying to clear that unit. But you almost think we are obviously in the shooting phase already, so this is all the movement. So we didn't see that anything onto that center objective. I'm not sure. Obviously, Jeremy's plan. But I'm not going to question him because he's an excellent player, obviously, and has had great success with KO, at recent events where nobody else, very few others have. But yeah, deciding not to tag that center objective with the frigate that did fly high. All right, we are seeing the Ironclad now has used all out attack, is dumping the shooting into those pust oils that it is in combat with. Yep.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. A good point by Michael Simeon, not to say your username in the chat. Cass, you can use that one if you want to.
What? Which one? My balls.
Yeah, so good point by my balls. That's why. You understand why we can't ever say his name. Conquer, leaving that objective for an easy conquer is an option, but he could have also done conquer this turn. So it is a battle tactic consideration, but maybe conquer this turn. There's a ton of opportunity at broken ranks in this game. But yeah, thinking you could have gone for conquer this turn, got that objective. It's also an extra point for the hold one at least. Here, the Ironclad is also going to get to charge in, and we know it does mortals on the charge. So this is actually a pretty good turn and amount of output from the KO force here. Yep, you're not wrong. Of having single pust oils are great targets for broken ranks. But I mean, there's going to be another opportunity for there to be a single pust oil here or there. Yep. So we are seeing that
Maybe
charge.
Some impact hits there.
Yep, with the trait that boat has, the Ironclad has, it is going to be doing some mortal wounds.
Nice.
Rolls a dice per a charge roll from 4 ups based on what the charge roll is. Rolls 1 dice, so if it's a charge of 11, rolls 11 dice. 4 ups are mortal wounds. Yeah, it's got some wild names. It's a Zonbar Corpse Dealbreaker Battle Ram.
No, thank you.
So we'll make sure to put that in pop-ups.
No.
Carl's gonna be bringing his KO down Friday.
No, that's okay.
In a match potentially that you're playing in on Friday night, Cass.
I'm playing on Friday?
That was the request for Daughters of Cain versus KO.
Well then.
Surprise. You heard it here first. So that Ironclad with the mortal wounds on impact did kill the it looks like the Lord of Afflictions actually was that last the single pust oil or the single fly up in that top right. So Lord of Afflictions going down. Sorry, it was a combination of the battle ram and mortal wounds from the bomb racks finishing it off there. So here, yeah, this is interesting. Mitch only has 2 bodies on the objective to Jeremy's 4 with the 2 boats. But if those flies both survive combat, they will get to pile in onto the objective potentially. As we are just seeing, yeah. So heads up play, obviously getting enough bodies there. If we see those 2 pust oils both survive, that will hold Mitch that objective. Pust oils went for an all-out defense with the Ironclad only dealing 1 damage to them. And now as they activate, the frigate is using all-out defense. Hard to see exactly how many wounds are on the frigate right now. It looks like at least 6 or 7. And assistant ref, no, I don't believe the Dryden retreated. It looks like it's in the same position that it was, it's been in this whole time. So, not sure if it retreated out, maybe, because obviously we're not seeing any combat over there on that side. Honestly, it must have retreated at this point, as it looks like we are into rolling disease now for
Nurgle.
Yeah, for Nurgle on the KO. But those two bugs both surviving on that top right objective again is big. It means he's not going to take that point. We saw the broken ranks achieved. So it potentially is only 2 points of scoring here for
because he didn't claim the
Kharadron.
objective.
Yeah,
That sucks.
so could have been 3. Only 1 post royal away from making it even a turn of 5. Not far off. But there's obviously 3 more rounds left. And potential, a lot of time to potentially come back, especially if turn 3 prio goes to KO at this point. There is the potential for one of the objectives to get burned, but he'll basically clear that top right objective at this point.
Yeah, so it looks like he did score his broken ranks for the 2 points there.
Yep. And only 1 mortal wound coming out to the Ironclad and 1 to the frigate from the disease points. So those boats are still alive, but I'm sure they're limping. It is a noteworthy point by Mike in chat that retreating out of combat there does give the Dragons an opportunity to try to rally. If they did a big 6, that could bring back another dragon.
The dragon
as well. Smart heads up play also, because where it's positioned behind that terrain, it's not really where the bugs want to be going. So if the bugs go to finish off that dragon, they will, depending on priority, those bugs will be coming off of the objective to go deal with it. They don't have any shooting, so can't do it from range.
looks like Nurgle won priority.
Yep.
And the KO didn't burn any objectives, I guess.
Cool, interesting. So
yeah,
I'm
wondering why he didn't.
Could have burned that bottom left one.
That's the one I was thinking he was going to, because there's bodies on that one, but maybe he has a plan.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting decision here. Because it does, with 2 objectives, it would potentially still allow him to, hold one, hold more throughout the game. Maybe it lets Mitch, Kharadron obviously being super mobile, it would let Mitch potentially consolidate down into that middle objective and just try and grind out, an even score for the final few turns. So this way, it does force Mitch to be a little more spread out between the objectives, which is definitely a good shout. Big here for Nurgle taking or winning prio. Yeah, not in a position to really do a ton here, or some interesting questions.
That's a really good point, actually. Just if you'd burn the bottom right, then it would just all go towards the boat. So at least the dragon is.
Yep. So
Keeping the flies kind of spread out.
yeah, Jeremy doing it, like putting some questions out there of what Mitch wants. Like he's gonna have a challenge of deciding what he wants to do here, both in movement, with all his units. Because of those objectives are all there, he has to spread out or has to consider, securing the objectives. Also, I'm sure wants to deal with that middle objective.
Archfey, no, he didn't burn anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were just, he may have just pointed to it while discussing other elements, but we are in the movement phase now, and those plus royals have used at the double to run 6 inches automatically, giving them a 14-inch move, moving on to that center objective.
It looks like they want to go back and protect it, I guess.
And the Lord of Afflictions just tagging the edge of that bottom left one, so... Interesting though, because that tagging the edge keeps 2 bodies on there, but it does not, does not deter the Kharadron ships from landing on the objective on the bottom left corner of it. Interesting. One thing we have not been talking about is contagion. And right now, Mitch would have, with this being round 3, Mitch would have enough contagion, and we are seeing, looks like a summon come out of Plague Bears, potentially, even help reinforce some of the objectives.
That looks really annoying to deal with.
Yeah. Plague Bearers are not much fun. 2 wounds each on those guys. Not great armor, bad damage output, but their bodies,
yeah.
20 wounds in that unit. And a 5-up ward save makes them resilient, hard to chew through.
Oh, that's annoying. But great for Mitch, but that's annoying.
Yeah. And I think a good point from Olivier in the chat. What's up, Olivier? But the, not maybe having that summon in his back pocket, because that objective wasn't burned, it really is allowing Mitch to almost, securely hold both of those. Again, we forgot about it. We weren't thinking about the summoning, but that's always something you have to consider. With Nurgle and those armies that have summoning mechanics, is you gotta worry about the potential of what could come next turn. And here, that not burning that bottom left objective may come back to bite Jeremy, but I think it was just big that even still, he could put all those bodies on that center objective. Because of the lead that Mitch has, it might, just keep them in a stalemate for the final, few turns, even if he was to burn that bottom left one. This way, at least those units are spread out between different points. The Ironclad and Frigate have dealt 2 mortal wounds to the Pustules on that top left objective from their bomb racks at the beginning of combat. Then we've seen those Pustules attack and finish off that frigate. So that is a huge move there. One of the Kharadron boats going down. So that's the first big boat that's gone down. I would also love to see a dragon rallied back. Would be a huge boost for Jeremy at this point. It does, as you noted, have 7 wounds applied on it right now. So it's only got 2 wounds remaining. So he's, can't really go throwing it into combat too bravely. Now, I believe counting wounds applied there with the dice, so 7 wounds on the dragon. And 1 Pustule did go down from the Ironclad. Looks like rolling disease again. We've seen 2 mortal wounds onto the Ironclad from disease, and 1 mortal wound onto the hero inside. Up here, and still that Pustule on the top right, holding that objective because it's 2 bodies to 2. Mitch is going to be controlling all 3 objectives at the bottom, the end of this turn. And as we said, scoring hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and the battle tactic for 5 points here. think a big rally here on the Dragons would be incredible. One of those plays when you're desperate, you don't expect it, but you can hope for it. Yeah, so Jeremy now is we are into KO turn, sorry. Jeremy is gonna have a tough task here of clawing back the game in the points. With Mitch getting 5 points on this past turn, he's up 17-7 right now. That's 10 points. That's 2 full rounds of scoring. Even if he managed to get 5 here, he's a full round of scoring behind. Has to make it up. Deny points to Nurgle. Round 5 to be able to come back and bring the score level. So that's gonna be a tough ask. We have seen Jeremy go for a Savage Spearhead here with the battle tactic. Again, with those boats being able to relocate and the territory on this mission shouldn't be too tough. Obviously, they need to drop down wherever they want. Yep. I have seen, as well as the Dragons potentially rallying. Plus, wheels all that unit of 4 has a potential rally as well, even the unit of 2. As Mike says in the chat, I've also had Mitch rally Pust Whales back against me, and when that's 8 wounds with the 5 aboard is effectively like 12 wounds. It's very annoying. Thankfully, Nurgle isn't one of the armies that have the benefit of extra command points. Sorry. We are seeing, again, those boats with the frigate moving. Not pushing the objective, potentially just looks like Jeremy's measuring ranges, obviously for his shooting. Also potentially measuring the threat of the Pust Whales and them getting into the boats. I think Mitch is more than happy to just sit on the objectives and soak fire at the moment. Looks like our players are taking a quick pit stop to relieve them.
We should have timed that better.
Yeah. So a little break here, but again, big question is the score right now for Jeremy is he's gonna have a really tough time. He's got to make up a full turn's worth of scoring by the end of the game, either through he has to be scoring max points, but also needs to deny Mitch a full turn's worth of scoring at some point in this game. And with the state of the board and the summons that Mitch brought in last turn, it's going to be really tough. We're seeing, okay, so boats moving around. Oh, well, here it is, Savage Spearhead, so Jeremy is throwing that frigate in Mitch's territory. Yeah, I agree. It's not looking good right now.
Well, because he great that he can get the battle tactic, but to claim those objectives is hard for him. He almost has to for points, right?
Yep.
At this point,
we know that is something that is very challenging for KO. Traditionally, pushing units off of objectives or pushing, getting control of objectives. If you leave them in the battlefield, they'll fly around and land on them. But if you actually have to fight an army off the objectives, they can really have a tough time with that. We have seen, looks like the Ironclad going for all-out attack, and the Pustoil, the single Pustoil on the top right, using all-out defense. At this point, Jeremy just needs to clear that, start working his way down to the other objectives. But the fact that we're into shooting now, it's gonna be tough here. We're again not threatening that center objective. We're not really trying to push for it. Not that, you know, Jeremy probably doesn't even think he has the damage output to clear that, you know, those 3 Pustoils in the center with what he's got left. But yeah, seeing the resiliency of Nurgle here. Though to be fair, Mitch only has 4 Pustoils and 1 Lord of Afflictions left, so that's, you know, 12 out of 16 dead already. That's a ton of damage that KO has been doing.
Yeah.
Noteworthy that they have lost both priorities this game so far.
Yeah.
Again, turn 2, turn 3, both being very impactful. Crippling here that, you know, he didn't manage to win either of those. And yeah, the summon really giving that board control to Mitch. Interesting dynamic between our players actually in this match. Based on the pairings, Mitch, as we talked about in the round 4 game, is coming in with 1 loss to this final match. Jeremy is the only player that's undefeated right now at 4-0, with Mitch being the top ranked 3-1 player. So depending on with the tiebreakers or the battle point scoring system in this event, it is an interesting dynamic that even with a loss, there's going to be a question. There will be a number of players competing at 4-1 for the top spot if Jeremy does indeed, you know, isn't able to claw it back in this game. Yeah. If he wins this game, I think he's obviously far and away with 5 major wins, the only undefeated player, going to, you know, win best general or be the highest ranked player. But if he does not get it, there's going to be a pretty significant tie in the end. Yeah, Olivier, I would agree with you. If Jeremy doesn't score more, like looking like he's going to score 3 points, should achieve his battle tactic. Well, there's stuff in the boat, so he will achieve his battle tactic. He's trying to clear that top right objective, that last Pustoil still. If he doesn't, he would only score 2 points, but even if he does, he would score 3 points. He's in and there we go. The Pustoil went down to the mortal wounds on the charge from the Ironclad. 3 points. He's still going to be down 7 points at the end of this turn. I would agree that he's going to need a priority pretty quickly to, you know, score, you know, make the points back. There is the possibility, looking at that dragon on the bottom left, that it could already be dead and our players not remove it just for this, you know, just moving through the game quickly. Could have just left it there knowing it's dead.
Dragon?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it has 7 wounds applied to it, so it should be alive with 2, but the fact that it hasn't done anything is noteworthy. Yeah, so three points indeed coming out for Jeremy there. Yeah. Looks like we are into round 4. Mitch won priority and is taking the turn. Yeah. No. We've been cheering for the dragon, but he's retired, he's quit, he's gone home, so would love to see him, you know, have an impact here if he is indeed alive, but we're just speculating at this point, I think, because
this dragon's the new Harambe.
Yeah, he has been questionably quiet over there on the side of the table.
I love that dragon. I hope it comes again. Oh, which just Mitch just won priority.
Mitch did
Poor
win
Jeremy.
priority.
That's like
Three
really
priorities in a
sucks.
row
Yeah.
lost. Yeah. So, you know, all the Nurgle stuff, healing any wounds that were allocated to it, or healing one wound to each unit. We've seen Lord of Afflictions and Aether Chemist both using heroic leadership.
I agree. I think playing dead is a very great strategy.
For that dragon.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Oh, man.
Looks like we've seen rallies used by both armies here. Nurgle not returning any of the plus oils, and it looks like one Arcanaut was returned inside the frigate. Not overly significant. So yeah. I would assume now we can probably be confident that dragon is actually dead.
Rip dragon.
Yeah, because if he's rallying Arcanauts, it means there's probably nothing better to spend those CP on, like dragons. Yeah.
I wonder, when did that dragon die then?
Must have been in probably top of round 3.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe it was even bottom of round 2. It could have died to disease, and because it's already off the, you know.
So wait, because Jeremy lost priority again, did he not have the chance to burn objective?
Only on round 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's only.
Man, so he lost his chance to like try and get that too.
Yeah,
but...
burn an objective. Now here he needs to be, because of the points deficit.
Okay.
He needed to not only be outscoring, like he needed to not only be scoring the points, but he needed to be outscoring Mitch. So,
which is really hard to do when you're in that position.
And again, even if he burned that bottom left one, Mitch would have just doubled down on the center one and given no opportunity to be outscoring, at all for Jeremy. Michael, to answer your question in the chat, talking about Skaven, what do you do after 100 clan rats and 60 plague monks? Well, we saw at this event Anthony running a Stormfiend list with the 9 Stormfiends. Now, unfortunately, the match that did get not televised, but recorded was against Jeremy's KO, and a bad matchup, bad example of what that army can do. But he had very successful at this event. Coming into round 5, he's on 3-1, so chance to end up at 4-1 and even be competing for the top spot in the tournament, depending on battle tactics and all that.
What did Mitch use for his battle tactic?
I'm not sure. So we haven't seen which battle tactic. He's obviously a number of ones available to him here. Yep. Good point, assistant ref, that the point denial also would be made by burning an objective. Round 3, because Mitch won priority and already held that top right, he still would have gotten hold 1 and hold 2 and hold more. So I think this turn now is when he would start feeling it. But he still would have held it on his previous turns. But that's all we're seeing for Mitch's turn. So stores his hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and battle tactic for 5 points. Again, like you say, could have only been 3 points here, not if he didn't get hold 2 and hold more with an objective burned. But Nurgle has gone for a rally on those plus royals, failing it again, or not getting any back. We've seen aggressive expansion being the chosen battle tactic for Jeremy here. Mitch, interestingly, choosing not to leave those plague bearers, within 3 of the center of the objective, which is potentially a fly high opportunity, but as well just less bodies on that objective. Though all he needs is 2 to deny the boats, right? That's going to be very interesting. See a lot of wounds. He's going to need to kill 9 plague bearers to take that objective. And with aggressive expansion being his chosen battle tactic, I think Jeremy's maybe at this point even potentially forgotten about the major and is just going for his battle tactics for tiebreakers. Again, with Jeremy being the only 5-0 person, he could be actually, from earlier in this game playing strategically and focusing just or more so on the battle tactics, ensuring he gets those instead of going for, primary points. Because we did see, obviously, like him emphasizing making sure he was getting his battle tactics, but giving up the objectives at some points, which is noteworthy. I think I would agree that killing 9 Plague Bearers is probably too tough of a task. Yeah, we'll see. Jeremy, again, smart players, probably very aware of the standings, and they know already that if he achieves all his battle tactics and his grand strategy, that he could lock up first place even with a loss here today, or in this game.
Thinking ahead.
Yeah, the Ironclad is opening up shooting, going for all out attack, shooting the pus oils though, however, not going for
Plague Bear.
Oh, very interesting. So but we did just see 2 Plague Bearers lifted, so it may have actually been the Plague Bearers in the end.
Oh, yeah. I was literally about to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. We didn't in hindsight, I would have loved to grab snapshots of the rankings throughout the event. I could have gone back and calculated all round by round by entering scores, but that didn't sound like a fun time. So something to learn for next time. But here, for that, for Jeremy to get his battle tactic, he's gonna have to remove those Plague Bearers, and again, only seeing 2 lifted so far. Obviously, a lot of shooting still coming out from KO, but is it gonna be enough? Let's see, wonder if there were any other battle tactics, because everything is garrisoned to the boats. He couldn't do something like ferocious advance, because the units obviously can't run. I don't know. I think Conquer is still available to him, but Conquer is it's the same challenge as of aggressive expansion, but Olivia, you did mention that other Ironclad flying high. I think the Ironclad was 2 damage actually to be able to fly high. I think if it has a certain amount of wounds on it, it is no longer able to fly high. So would have been why we didn't see that Ironclad also bounce over there to that bottom left objective and securely take it. We've seen 5 more damage out onto the Plague Bearers. It looks like, okay, the Ironclad, killed 2 Plague Bearers and dealt 11 damage to the pus oils, assuming it was just a range restriction of not being able to shoot or put all the attacks into the Plague Bearers. The Frigate has now dealt 7 damage to the Plague Bearers. So we've seen 5.5 Plague Bearers wounded here. But yeah, not obviously what what Jeremy needs here. And in the end, Stores hold 1, fails his battle tactic, just gets 1 point. Not the turn that he was looking for. His first failed battle tactic. Going into round 5 priority, and it looks like Mitch has won it again.
Oh my god.
So that's 4 priority wins for Mitch here. I think after round 2 is pretty much a foregone conclusion of just trying to, seal the deal. But all those priority wins going Mitch's way. Fortuitous for him. Sometimes that's just how it goes.
I would like yeet my dice like across the room. I'd be so.
That's the thing. People, there are stories of crazy folk out there who have eaten their dice.
Eat, not eat.
I know, but I'm telling you a story of someone who ate their dice.
No.
Yep.
Ate?
Swallowed a dice.
What?
Yeah. So this my medical professional wife is just aghast.
Sounds like something my daughter would try to do, but like,
wrong.
what? Excuse me?
Yeah. Not gonna name any names here, but yeah, I think with this, obviously here, this major win is going to go to Nurgle. Their players will be playing out just the final battle tactics. So we can go ahead and talk about how things finished out in this event. So with, again, this being round 5, we have seen, or major win here, go to Nurgle. Interestingly enough, though, as we kind of talked about, because of the way the scoring and pairing system worked, first place at the event did end up still going to Jeremy, based on not only major wins, which there was a number of people tied at 4-1, but battle tactics and grand strategies being key in the battle point scoring system that we used at this event, or that was used at this event. Jeremy did end up being the victor, coming out in first place, winning the tournament.
Yeah.
So despite a round 5 loss in this tough matchup, Jeremy did take home first place. Second place went to Mitch. So after a round 1 loss, actually clawing his way back into the final game and getting a big win, earning Mitch second place was huge for him. So congrats to both Jeremy and Mitch. Both, at the top table, ending 1-2. That's a great little story. Good battle for both of them.
They like reversed.
Yeah. So, Mitch won the battle. Jeremy won the war.
Yeah.
And then in third place, for the awards, did go to, I believe it went to Anthony. Sorry. Anthony is in third place for battle points and in pure just battle standings. But because he actually, I believe, won best overall for a combination of hobby, sports, and battle points, meaning that Bill Souza, who ended in fourth place, again at 4-1, was promoted into third place for the best general award. Yeah, so a couple big names there, big events, big showings at this event with a wild, swath of armies that we saw here. Everything from
it's only because I wasn't there.
Yeah, everything from Flesh Eater Courts and obviously KO Nurgle all doing well. Skaven coming in third place from Anthony is a great showing for Skaven, despite the unfortunate
Skaven
punishing. He played against Jeremy in round 3 and got punished, so it was a pretty rough game. But the only loss that he had at this event, so great for Anthony and everyone who played some more obscure factions and lists and was performing well with them. I give shout outs to Roger Barker, who was playing Khorne here, and obviously a few other players playing a myriad of armies. Yeah, Cass, what do you think? Is this I know that you aren't too familiar with either of these armies, but
yeah, definitely tried my best to follow along for your patience and understanding, chat.
Yeah. Do you have any predictions? Did you have any guesses of who would have taken it?
I don't know, from like the first turn, I don't know. I thought Jeremy had a good chance. Especially when you start seeing those flies getting swatted.
Yeah, killed 4 or 5.
Yeah, he had a really good first turn, and then I think as the rest of the turns kind of went along, you're just kind of like
priorities going.
Yeah,
to Mitch.
it's honestly like that's sometimes a really unfortunate part that I am learning about Warhammer is like sometimes you really are at the mercy of those dice rolls, and it's like, and I'm not trying to say that as like a like, you know, oh, it's the dice, you know, but it's like sometimes it really is. Like it really is. It comes down to like what a completely different game this would have been if Jeremy would have won any of those
really
priorities.
Yeah. It's often like when you have two closely matched players and two closely matched armies, just the way the dice fall sometimes can, you know, dictate how things go. But again, here, big win for Mitch and taking home second place with Jeremy still coming first in the tournament. So congrats to both these guys. But we'll wrap up the game here, despite the players playing out just the final battle tactics here in round 5. So thank you so much to everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this match. And we'll see you all soon. Another battle report.